Welcome back for some more Inside the Zone. We already took a look back at the first 5 weeks of the regular season. Now we take a look forward at this Friday night's games here in Week 6. And we've got some doozies on the board. Our Highlight Zone game of the week is going to be Leo at Heritage as the ACAC takes center stage. And both these teams, Tom, have been fantastic this season.
They have. A couple of 4-1 teams, couple of conference rivals. There's not going to be any love lost in this game. I do look for Leo to be able to prevail. Their young kids are really growing every single week. They're playing great football right now. They've dominated some opponents up to this point. So I look for Leo to be able to run the ball really, really well against Heritage, led by Connor Kasser. But Leo can also pass if they have to. So if Heritage loads up the box against those guys, Leo will drop back and throw some too.
Yeah, Leo lost that first game against Norwell. They've scored 40 points 40 points or more, really, in every game since. Heritage, you kind of called it at the beginning of the season. You said watch out for the Heritage Patriots, and they've put it together. What's been the key to their success?
Well, Reed Yoder's back. That helps. He's been battling injuries all season, and he was back full speed last week and had 4 touchdowns, 3 rushing and 1 passing. So that certainly helps, and Heritage is a darn good team. This will be a very competitive game, but I do think Leo will pull it out in the end. Okay,
so that game will go a long way in deciding who wins the ACAC title. Perhaps you throw, as you mentioned before, Garrett in the mix, but it looks like Leo could very well be the team to beat, especially if they beat Heritage this coming Friday night.
It's a competitive race.
All right, moving along to the SAC now. Wayne, you mentioned as your biggest surprise of the year at 5-1. They're going to be playing Dwenger this week. 5-0 are the Saints. What's going to be the big key in that game? Because on paper, Wayne looks good with that 4-1 record, but Dwenger has really been on a separate level from everybody in the area.
Well, I think Harding gave Dwenger a bit of a wake-up call where Dwenger just thought maybe they could show up, go through the motions, and the next thing they know, going into the second quarter, they were down 12-0. And so, but then at that point, Dwenger woke up. So that'll probably be a negative for Wayne this week, that Dwenger's going to be ready to go from the get-go. Wayne will try to run the ball. They've got a quarterback in James Patterson and Mikael Banks and Tyrell Jones. I said Tyrell Evans earlier. I apologize for that, Tyrell, because he's a great player. I need to get his name right. But those 3 guys can all run the ball really well, and that's what Wayne will try to do. They don't pass very often at all. But if they can have success running the ball against Dwenger, then they'll dominate the time of possession and keep the Dwenger offense, Landon Fichter and Ramon Wright and Wade Markley and all those guys off the field. So, you know, they've got a fighter's chance, so to speak, but I do look for Dwenger to be able to pull this out.
When you take a look at the schedule, Wayne has played Elmhurst, they've played Concordia, they've played Northside, they've played Lewis, beat all those teams. The only loss coming in week 1 to Harding, which is the best team that they've faced. This is going to be a different level from what they've seen so far. How do they step up to meet the challenge?
Well, it is a different level, but it's a team they see every single year. So it's not like a team from out of the conference. Once you get in the sectional and some of these out-of-conference teams play at Dwenger, they get shell-shocked. The Wayne kids aren't going to be shell-shocked by anything. They see Dwenger every single year, and they see other good teams like Snyder every single year. So they'll be perfectly fine. They're not going to be nervous or anything like that.
I think Jordan Patterson, you mentioned him, he's one of the most underrated players in the area. Kind of like an unknown Greg Johnson in the area.
He is. Not a lot of people know about him, but they do after you play him.
All right, moving on to the NHC. This is a game that is going to basically eliminate somebody from contention in the conference. East Noble at Norwell. Both of those teams have a loss in conference, and the way Homestead's playing after beating Belmont, it looks like you're definitely not going to win that conference with 2 losses.
Right.
So which team gets eliminated
East
from the
Noble
race?
gets eliminated.
Really?
Yes, Norwell will win. The key to this is Norwell's defense is better than East Noble's defense. Both have very balanced offenses. Norwell can rely on quarterback Noah Patton, or they can hand the ball off to Clay Fichter, who will go for 275 on you if he wants. But the defense will be the key to this. East Noble's defense has been shaky all year. Norwell's has been pretty good all year. So I look for Norwell. Not only are they the home team, but they're the better defensive team. So I think Norwell will be fine in this. No, I mean, it's not going to be easy, but they'll be fine.
And Norwell's given up just 74 points this season. That leads the NHC. Right. But East Noble, I got to give them this. They played Homestead the toughest out of anyone this year, including Belmont, the reigning 3A state champs.
Well, they did, but the 42-35 score was a little bit misleading. They scored a couple times late, and so really Homestead dominated them, just like Homestead's dominated everybody. But yeah, it's not beyond the realm of comprehension that East Noble can go down there and win. But I've got to pick somebody, and so I'm going with the home team.
Oh, I'm going to pick East Noble this week.
All right, we'll see.
I like what Chris DeFew has.
You also picked Belmont, though, last week. As
you
did
too.
I.
You
As
too.
did I.
We are not perfect despite all the time that we spend doing all this stuff and covering high school football. But that is going to do it for this week. He's Tom Davis from the News Sentinel. He'll have you covered throughout the entire week, and we'll have you covered here on Friday night with another edition of the Highlight Zone. Thanks for logging on to Wayne.com, and we'll see you next week.